Good. Wow. Interesting topic today. The praxis of the MSc approach. Verena, you haven't been with us last time. You don't know about the theory. I made a presentation about it.
I know about the theory because I think we talked about the MSc approach quite a few times already, didn't we?
Yeah, but I
Alistair's nodding.
made a presentation about it, and we were
Okay.
going through this last time. And okay, let's skip this presentation because it was also not very clear how it works. I tell you again, and don't complicate too much. Yeah? I also thought this may be very. Hi, Mike. This is very complicated, but it's actually not complicated. So don't bring your expectations a bit down to some actually a bit simple thing. So it was two scenarios. One scenario is that you have a person that cannot move a specific part of his body at all because whatever, he's fresh out of whatever surgery or it's a fresh injury. And sure, this needs the rest. This needs the maybe the professional guy, the physiotherapist, whatever to make whatever they do at first. And as soon as they are at the end of the Latin, you step in and try to therapy this piece till the end. That's the big problems. The conventional approach is a symptomatic treatment with not a complete healing or management of the problem. So it is open for breaking out again, open for decaying again, open as a victim to your lifestyle. And what we want is we want to bring it back to the original functioning, as well as, and this is the little difficult thing is, as well as you also have to take up a practice that is sustainable, maybe minimal, maybe an investment of 80%, of 20% in a effect of 80%. So a quite good, efficient calculation to keep it in the perfect state you've left it. And this could be you had a perfect lifestyle. Then there was this corner with the scar and with the spike and smashed your knee. So that means you have to bring your knee back and include it again in your healthy lifestyle. Or you have a not so healthy lifestyle, and this knee or whatever is the result of a decade of compensation and decay and problem. And you can shift this problem on and on and on with the help of a surgery and help of a physiotherapist or help with painkillers. You may find somebody who brings it a bit into a better situation that you can do the stuff again. But in the end, if you don't integrate it back into the natural environment, it will always be a problem. It will come up whenever there is age or another injury. It will definitely not vanish. And this is why you need to take up a practice if you're in this unhealthy lifestyle and if you want your function back, to keep this function or improve this function. That's the bitter thing. Good medicine always tastes ugly. Otherwise, it's not a good medicine. Good. So, and now we have the case of a joint that is completely out of order and you cannot access it, or you have a joint that is just in this chronic problem, and you can use it to a specific degree. And these are two scenarios. If you have a third scenario, it has no problem, but you take care of it anyway because you don't want a problem. So that's the prevention thing. So in the first case, we cannot access the I call it target area. I think this is good to talk about. The target area is I thought we'd make it very easy today. We take the lumbar spine.
I have an ankle, if you want.
Well, the ankle is a bit more complicated.
Okay, then nice.
For the ankle, it's not that we have this neighboring big joints that are responsible or also victims of the problem. You have it on an end. That means it needs to be addressed from the knee side and sure from the plantar fascia, from the Achilles tendon, whatever is also in the problem. Yeah, so let's say we have the ankle. Okay, Miki, let's take the ankle.
No, it doesn't want. I doesn't need to. But I was working on my muscles here a lot, and my plantar fascia too. And I just do with the massage gun softly, and it's
Right.
a big difference already. So the ligaments are not in two parts, but they are like you do a paper, but not totally broken, and my muscles too. But this is a super big difference. So now I can walk again already. So I'm just working on my muscles at this moment and start to how to say to squat. Try to squat and stretch the whole back line. So I work with stretchings from the back line, and today I did a step up on a box to have a bigger range of motion. But I take always the brace. My I don't know what is this in English. This on when I walk, because here in the field I'm here outside always with the kids, and it's not flat, so it's wobbly. So this is the most dangerous thing in the day. So I can understand how we can work with the different parts of the. I didn't know that the muscles are sticking so hard, and this is so much. This is the biggest thing of the pain, maybe, that your muscle is doing this when you make a crash.
They're tightening up. They're stabilizing the injured part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the muscle is connected to the fascia, and normally the fascia is the ones that are pain sensitive. The muscles don't think have that much. They have no sensory stuff. The sensory is in the package around it, so it's all interwoven. But the pain should be come out of the fascia tissue, actually, which is also always where muscles are. Okay, so in your case, you have the most inconvenient thing is that the joint is not accessible.
Yeah.
In itself, but sure, it is still accessible. It is not accessible with movement. It's not accessible with any normal function. It is accessible in supporting the body to repair it again. And the most important thing is blood flow. And what you're doing with your foam rolling, with your myofascial release, with the movements already, with whatever it is actually blood circulation work. In the first place, sure. Then you prevent that the sticking together or gluing together of the tissue that is destroyed, where also blood is there to repair, can get in a situation which is also just a short time relief. And in the end, if something is, let's say, after everything is fine structured, then there is an injury. Then it needs to be repaired as a quick fix. And this is the scar tissue. That scar tissue is not just a big cut here you can see. A scar tissue is also something inside that is out of its normal structure because it is destroyed or whatever. And then at the end, you not just need to get back the full range of motion, you don't need to get back the full functioning of muscle, fascia, blood circulation, nerves, whatever. It's also that this destroyed part needs to be getting back into the right structure. It's like you have a street and there is plaster on it, and there's whatever destruction and the plaster's flying around. And then you're not just throwing the plasters into the place, so that every vehicle can ride over it, no matter what the bumpers are saying, what the tires are saying. they can drive over it again. Yeah? And what we want is to have this plaster back again in the old perfect form, that every vehicle that is driving over it is not damaging itself. So that this would be the plan. Perfect situation, as perfect as possible in the end. Okay, so what was the injury exactly? How does it happen, and what is that?
So I have Duncan here.
Just if I may ask, and if you want to answer this question, surely.
Of course. I have donkeys here, and there are a lot of kids, and I was looking to the kids and looking backwards and walking in the front, but the donkeys make holes in the ground, and I stepped in such a hole and fell down. But I had already a lot of ankle sprains long time ago. It was 9 years I didn't sprain my ankle, so now I did it quite well. So I had the feeling that what is this bone here? The
talus bone.
Yeah, that it went outside, inside, and back on the place. This was the feeling. So it was totally in 1 second it was totally out, and I start to crawl on my knees, and I say maybe I should start to walk and try if it works. And I could stand on it, but not to the outside and inside, and I start walking because my donkeys went to the other side, and there is someone who comes here to help me, but she has a mental disorder, and and she never can make the things in the right place so that my donkeys don't go out. So that was I was running to the other side. So I need to get there. So I was walking over there slowly, and I think this was my lucky thing that I start to walk immediately. Because then I went back home and put a lot of strong thing around it, and I needed to work the whole day. It happens around 11, and that day I had 20,000 steps, so I didn't stop walking that day. And
Without painkillers.
Sorry.
Without painkillers, you just
no. I called the doctor, and they say you need to take Nurofen because there can be an inflammation. I say no. If I take Nurofen, I don't want to feel it anymore. What happens? So I need to step correctly. So I just did weight shifting the whole time. And the funny fact was, the Saturday evening we went to Germany because I had a rope flow meeting there, and I did okay. Then I will sit on the floor, but it worked quite well. I did the whole meeting, and it was always the weight shifting and the normal way of walking, and this was good for my feet because I was totally focused on how I need to step. So that happened.
Okay, wow, tough.
But and then the whole weekend, and now still kids here. It's the whole holiday. I'm full with kids. It's full with kids here. So, and the funny fact, they made an echo last Saturday, and then they say the doctor called me today. To other people, I should say, please don't walk too much. Sit down and rest. And I was like, it's good, the movement, I think. Because before they always put it in the plaster. I don't know what is the name, and now it goes so it's healed so fast.
Yeah, right.
So
the question is, can a person decide by itself whether he can keep going like you, or should do what the doctor says? That's the big problem. I think most people cannot decide whether it's a big problem or not to go on like this. But I would say that you are somebody who have so much experience in different kind of movements and working with your body that you can decide definitely without any negative consequences whether you can go on walking or not.
Yeah. But my doctor knows me, so she said, okay, you will see what happens. I just would like to have the echo because I would like to train. So if there is a big issue, if there's something broken, or whatever. I think a broken thing is another thing than when the when the ligaments or the muscles or and I think when it's broken, you will feel it, no?
Yeah, definitely. There's also more blood.
Nah, actually not. If I can jump in there, because my brother's a paramedic, and when I had my injury at the beginning of the year, I asked him, and he said, actually, if it's broken, you have a lot of pain in the moment that it breaks, and then depending on how the bones are disarranged, you might have no pain at all, or just like a very tiny pain, but not a strong pain like with a prellung. I don't know the English word right now. But you know, it's worse than a bruise. But help me out, native speakers. You know, like when you have like a massive impact, but it doesn't break, but you probably have a swelling and it hurts a lot.
Something like a concussion, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. And that actually would cause you much more pain than a broken bone.
Yeah.
Yet, if you want a broken bone to heal properly, you need to fix it, because otherwise it will always kind of move again and again and not properly heal.
Yeah, definitely.
Or it will kind of heal, but in funky angles.
Yeah, right. No, this is not what we need to risk. This is why we have medicine nowadays. And what I thought was just that if you see the ankle from Mike, she sent me a picture and it was blue, then you know there's maybe a break or a rupture of a tendon, but it is about the same problem. You need to fix it anyway, and going to a doctor and seeing what is actually there. If it's just a concussion or it's real damage, it's always good to know, because then you also know how much you can invest or how little you have to invest. Less going fully into the movement again if the problem is severe, and if the problem is not very severe, it's just a pain but not a real damage, then you can also risk a bit more in your self-treatment and movement. But if it's blue, there is some real damage, and this should be examined.
Yeah, I've put it in the chat, some pictures.
Oh yeah, okay, great.
It was blue like this. But I stroblum, but I don't know. I did essential oil and it was very fast gone. This was super nice to feel.
Okay, good. So we were talking about the soft tissue release is important. Another factor would be, do you know the Big Six lymph mojo from Perry Nicholson, for example? This is something I can send you. It's a YouTube video. It is here for activating the lymphatic system, and this would also be something very, very good. There are 6 parts of the body, and maybe then you can focus on just the knee pits or the groin, because it's closest to the injury, and the white blood cells should go directly there. Yeah. It's called Big Six Perry Nicholson, or Stops Chasing Pain. I can put it into the WhatsApp group. Okay, this would all be something. So we have blood flow increase, we have lymphatic flow increase, and the rest I think is just waiting for the pain goes away and for the range of motion is coming back. Good. So we have big toe mobilization. We have midfoot mobilization. Yeah, all these exercises that can be done with a stick. All the stuff we were doing should be able, right? Yeah, it's not on that part, yeah, where the injury is, but on the other parts, because everything will tighten up. This will get completely tight, from the swelling, but also from a protective reflexive stabilization. Yeah, and you try to give the space back as well as when you are moving, your nervous system also get the feedback of if this guy is moving, then it cannot be that grave. It's like positive thinking. If you're then lie on the ground and start crying and say, God, my life is gone, your reconvalescence time will be shorter than when you say, oh, happy, I have a lot of stuff to do. I would have not been able if my ankle would be great. Now I have time to do a lot of ugly stuff in my time. There's also always something to do. And I'm sure your body will recognize this. And we know positive thinking helps. Good. So that's the one side. Again, we start with the ankle cannot be moved because it's swollen, it's blue, it's painful, and maybe there's some injury in it that needs 6 weeks of rest recommended by your doctor. So you can start on the toes and on the midfoot. Yeah, with the toes, you everything. Yeah, whatever you're doing, spreading these one, going through. Whatever movement, as much movement as possible. And the next address would then be the knee. And for the knee, you would also go for the foam rolling stuff. You would go for the whatever brings blood flowing, and you would also start for minimal movements in the knee. And there's not much to be done, right? It's a stability-prone joint. There can just be flexion, extension, and some rotation in it. And in the bent position, you also have a bit of torsion movements that are able to be done. For the two reasons, one is that you still working against the swelling. So you cannot do the full movement because the swelling is already there. And you cannot maybe do the full movement because the pain is there. So you have to slowly work into the ranges of motion of the knees. And if it's not in a complete load-free position like lying, but already up the developmental milestones, every movement that you are inflicting to the knee will also have a movement into the ankle. You cannot separate them completely. Okay, so the procedure would be ankle is a bit strange because it's something like an end joint, and it is not necessary to lay on the ground, for example, because you can just sit and work on the ankle without any load. But normally, for example, I would have taken the spine as a discussion point because it is. Yeah, we can go through the spine because it's easier, and then we can again lay it or compare it with the ankle.
Of course, you can go to spine because I think with the spine there is another thing who come to my mind. It's like a nerve feeling to your whole leg who is. So this I don't have this in my ankle, but I remember from an injury in my back that the disc was just moved a little bit and who touched the nerve, and this was like, whoa, and what now? So this is more complicated, I think, than my ankle. Sorry.
It is more complicated, yeah. That's for sure, because there's much more stuff around, and much more also asymmetries that are centering in the lumbar spine. Okay, so let's take the spine. Let's take the first approach again. The spine cannot be moved, or any movement is painful. I think if you have a protrusion or prolapse or whatever in the lumbar spine that's causing the pain. I don't know the English word. What's is sciatica or something like this? Then I think every movement is painful. I haven't had one. I just had this. Oh shit! There's something a bit of stress. Keep it a bit soft for the next few days. This is also something you feel every time, whenever you are. But the question is, what is the most uncomplicated position for spine. And normally it should be lying. If you're able to lie down, when you're in lying, it should be great. Maybe the getting into lying and getting out of the lying could be a big problem again. Yeah, but also we have different approaches, different techniques to get into lying and back. And also, if you train this, you have the condition to load not the abdominal muscles in it, but use more the shoulders and the arms, like in an elbow roll. It's also something. If you're more literate, physical literate, you have more possibilities. You have a better condition. You can handle a problem like this much easier because you're strong and can compensate for this damaged area. And okay, so if this part is damaged but not accessible, we start in the most uncomplicated position, and that would be supine lying. Okay, so just getting into supine lying is a thing of trial. We have the direct way into the elbow roll, but you can do whatever you need to keep your lumbar spine as unmoved as possible. So the getting into the position is maybe already a quite interesting task. So reach this. And the first thing is, again, can I move my spine now? Because if you can move it here, does not mean that you cannot move it on the ground. Because if load is down from the spine, it can be more accessible. So the first thing would be that you start with these little movements. We had pressing the lumbar spine down, not pressing it down, but just extending it and flexing it, and bring. That's actually micro movements, very little movements to see on the one side how is the pain, how does the pain develop, does it become less, does it become more. Also with the notion of if I move it a little bit, I bring it the same list of stuff. I bring a bit of tension down, I bring blood circulation in, I give the nervous system the information of he can move it. That means it cannot be that problematic. So that's about 3 layers. Okay, and then in supine lying you can start to okay, so let's say you can just move it a bit up and down, and that's it. That's for today. Not more to expect. So also don't overdo it. Don't irritate it. Don't do too much. And that's just the thing between. Does it become better? As long as it become better, you can go on. Does it get worse? You have to stop as fast as possible. And then you go to the neighboring joints, and you start with the arms and the chest spine to bring a bit of alignment in. It means with the background that if your lumbar spine has a problem, it is either by an accident where you can do nothing, it is not your fault, or it is a chronic decay. And if it's a chronic decay, it is not just because of the spot, it is also because of the neighbors. All of them are responsible for the decay on this spot. So the rounded spine from sitting and standing in the CrossFit box is too much load on a part of your body that is not up for doing it. Okay, so that means working on your chest spine, bringing it a bit into the balance, working on the shoulders, working on the hip to break this tightness up, and also starting to rehabilitate the whole neighborhood is the first thing to do. It's better than doing nothing. Okay, so in lying, whenever you lift the leg like this can be a problem for your lumbar spine already. If there is pain or whatever, this leverage and the tension can already fire into the problem. It means you first should be able to bring your legs into a position like this. So for the first day after injury, could be that you are able to maybe lie down, you are able to start little movements, and you are able to bring your legs into a position where you may use them tomorrow for the next task. And for the let's skip tomorrow, so I'm able to bring my legs like this. Now you very slowly start to stretch the hamstrings, for example. So if there is like a prolapse in the lumbar spine, or if the nerves are under stress, it is mostly the ischias nerve, the nervus ischiadicus. I don't know the English word also. Yeah, and this nerve runs from the lumbar spine into the feet and through all the legs. It means this nerve is irritated. This is where the pain comes mostly from. And this nerve is under stress. That means if you are able to relax this nerve wherever he's going through a problematic region, and that's in the hips, that's in the knees. So first is the spine, then comes the hip, then comes the knees. This is always very tight for this nerve to run through it. Whenever you are loosening and opening this part, the nerves get some relief. And especially, I don't know whether you know the LASEK sign. It is a test for the ischiatic nerve on the lumbar spine exits. It is a straight leg raise exercise. And if you raise the leg and there's a pain in the lumbar spine, then you know quite sure that it's the ischias nerve that is the problem. It's a test for, is it a prolapse or is it not a prolapse? That means the test is testing actually the stretching of the nerve in combination with the stretching of the muscles. And if you work on stretching of these muscles, it will release the stress there. So it's the first sign of stress. And if you work on this stress, it is the first task to calm the stress down. Okay? So then you start simply stretching the hamstrings, you're stretching the insides, you're stretching the outsides, you're stretching the piriformis. Actually, the piriformis muscle is a muscle that is in your glutes part, and right through this muscle, the ischias nerve runs through. That's the big problem, that most people sit on this nerve and on this muscle gets tight. It is still squeezing on this nerve, and it has the sign of prolapse, but it is not a prolapse. It is a squeezing of a nerve one level lower, not in the lumbar spine, but in the hip. So again, this nerve needs to be released, and this is hamstring stretches or backside stretches of the legs. It's the piriformis stretch. This position. There's not much stretch, but this would be interesting to move while here is the stress. And if this is getting better, then you slowly start to get into the real stretching position to get an effect into here. So you don't need to stretch or work on a specific conditional factor. You need first to go through movements that bring you there. And going through the movements is already part of the equation to give your nervous system the information of, he's already starting to work. I can release my job of permanent tension. Okay, so, and then you go always up and down. It's a permanent feedback of the target area. So the original, let's call it a priority number one target area. It's where the problem is. And then you switch to the target areas to slowly circle into the priority target area. So we take the target area of the hips, and we take the target area of the chest spine and shoulder region. We can work on, and whenever we have something done there, you check the original target area, whether there is something happened. Did it become worse or did it become better? The probability that it become better is much higher than it becomes worse. Okay, and with this feedback, working on the neighbors, checking the target, you will have improvement in the target, and from a specific point on, you can start to target the target area specifically. That means you can start to do side rotations. You can start to maybe do a bit of a roll up or down, a bit of a sitting and moving the spine, a bit of sitting and leaning, and whatever. This is all tension, relaxation, just relaxation, and this all will bring back the original function again.
And hanging is also a good idea, because I think it's loosening up or
yeah, definitely hanging. And there's also something, the normal person cannot hang properly. If somebody has, you cannot recommend some hanging to get more room into the lumbar spine to somebody who cannot hang. This is why they invented, for example, a head over toes bank. It's called, it's a wippe or whatever. It doesn't matter. It is a flat plank. You step in, you lay yourself down, you have your feet with a girdle or whatever fixed, and then you have one leverage, and this leverage is here for turning you upside down. Then you're fixed on the feet. You're not hanging freely. You're lying on this plank, but the gravitational pull is pulling you down. And if then there is a physiotherapist, I think this normally was used in physiotherapy. Then somebody produced it en masse, and now you can buy it for your home self-treatment. It is a very scalable, progressive possibility to get a bit of decompression in your lumbar spine. Kopfbank, Kopfüberbank, irgend sowas. You've never seen something like this? Yeah, you can find them on eBay, Kleinanzeigen. Yeah, people bought them and now they want to get rid of them because it's just blocking the whole house, half a room with this device. And okay, just for you to know, there's a fantastic thing to de-stress or decompress your lumbar spine, but most people are not more able to do it. If they may climb more or hang more, they would have this decompression as a preventive exercise, and prolapse would never happen. But this is just part of the equation. If you are out of the game, you are helpless. If you're in the game, you can help yourself anyway, in anything. Verena.
How about just a very simple forward fold with bent knees?
A what? A forward?
A forward fold.
Fold?
With bent knees.
With bent knees.
Because then, like, the lower spine also gets room.
What is a forward fold? This one?
Snap. Wo bin ich denn? Hier bin ich.
Ah, yeah.
That one. But with like bent knees, so that the load is taken out of the lower back.
Yeah, definitely. But I would say this one is already a bit high in the progression, because you have to fold down and up again, and this could also be very problematic to get into the position.
But if I, for example, also use like a stick, so I kind of help myself, or like what you have in the back, like the Sprossenwand, or a chair, whatever, the door, a tree.
Exactly, perfect. So that means the positions are obvious. The question is just, how do I get in these positions? Do I use my brain and a bit of creativity, or do I buy a device? That's the two things nowadays you can choose.
And squatting, if you're just in a squat or a sitting rest squat position, or how to say, is also a de-stress of your lumbar spine.
Squat is always good for the bending. Yeah. What a friend of mine had a Hexenschuss, ischiatic problem, and what I recommended him is this. Yeah. So I need something underneath, so like a cushion. So my hip gets lifted up just like this. So I just support myself with the heels, so that's counterproductive because it's tensing me up. But if you have your lower legs as high as, then you can relax, and your lumbar spine and pelvis is just 1 centimeter over the ground. Yeah, then you can start to very softly do these movements. This is what a chiropractic is also doing, right? They have very special and expensive tables. Yeah, and there's a lot of different possibilities to adjust them, and they can make these adjustments that some parts of you are hanging and others are fixed. There's also the adjustment that one part of the bench is going down very quickly, so your reflexive stabilizers are getting tricked, and they're not protecting you from going down, but they let you go down, and this is then repositioning your joints somehow. So that's all ideas actually you should be able to apply by yourself in a way. Should be possible to an extent. Yeah, but the thing is, there are principles what your body needs, and then you try to find the possibilities to give it to him. Yeah. That means, again, blood circulation, lymphatic flow, tension relaxation, and also some decompression, for example. And decompression is, again, we do it just for blood flow better, or for stretching some very tiny local stabilizers that are panicking since months. Yeah. But the thing is always, if I cannot work on the target area, I have to go to the neighbors. And working on the neighbors is already working on the target itself, but not into the problem, but from the fringes slowly to the center of the problem. It's the same thinking as when I have a trigger point, a very tight part in my fascia, in my muscle, and it's the 100% same thing. And you take a foam roll or whatever, and want to make it more soft. Yeah, you cannot apply the foam roll directly on the point because you are too weak or you're too heavy. The pressure is too much. So what you do is you start from the fringes and work yourself slowly. You break the problem up from the fringes until this one gets already a bit of alleviated, and then you can start at one specific point to target the area and work from the area to the fringes again. So starting at the neighbors, and then everything is fine here, and then going back to the neighbors, as said at the beginning, because the neighbors are probably responsible for the problem, or co-responsible for the problem. Yeah, or they are co-victims of the program. They are always involved in the story as victims or as perpetrators. Either way, you need to bring them back on track. Okay, so I think the principle is not very complicated, right? This is, let's say, it's the foam roll process to keep it as simple as possible. But the implementation then is the thing. And for the implementation with the sever problem, we have to take some stuff in respect. It means, okay, that's the criteria. And how do we get into the positions to cover the criteria? Yeah? And in what positions do I start? Yeah. And this is where we have the developmental milestones, because the developmental milestones already cover this progressive tension load. Yeah. In lying, we have no tension. And in the transitions, tension starts. And in sitting, there's mobility and tension in combination. And in kneeling, there's almost just tension. And in standing, there is, again, a lot of tension. And other movements bring some detension in again, like whatever, climbing, for example. Adding climbing then has a different effect. But you need to be safe on what is possible and what exercise is the best now to the best out of this possibility. Is it lying? Is it sitting? Is it a specific? Is it just a reaching movement? Supine lying and reaching, not getting into the side roll, but just reaching for building up tension, using tension and relaxation as a stress down regulator would be possible, like this progressive muscle relaxation after Jakobsen, for example, is a fantastic tool. Yeah, but that's the question is, how do we bring this on paper? Yeah, so you can read this after something like this. ChatGPT, voice over scripture, make it a nice understandable text for three grader.
Bernd, I was thinking, should we ask like alignment? That's what I was focused very much on with my ankle, to be in a good alignment, that it doesn't hurt, or to restart the.
When you put then load on it,
Yeah.
close to ending the therapy about alignment, yeah, sure. Alignment would be the safest position of the joint. This is where all the forces are equally distributed. If it is the real alignment, if it's not the already decayed alignment, but the real alignment. Yeah, we always look. I'm upright, yeah, but you can have the upright by using more flexion or extension on one and the other joints. That means alignment would be perfect to keep on going with a repair process or with the therapy process. But as soon as the therapy is ended, you need to make it bulletproof again. And this then gets into the variability thing, where also the simulating the supination trauma as a training tool is necessary. I also had this problem with ankle sprains all my youth. And it started with movement that I got some competency. And the first thing I was really thinking of this, now the problem is actually solved. Whatever was my reason, maybe it was the growth, or it was hormones, or it was the beer, or whatever that supported it. But it was about 10 years ago. It was half dark, and we were in Munich in a park where I did the training, and we did something like follow the leader, and we were running right over a green grass, and I was stepping into a little ditch. It was just there out of nowhere. I stepped into it, and nothing happened. And why? Two factors. One is higher mobility. That means my reaction time on checking the getting out of alignment was longer, so I had more time to react. And the other one is I was going down every second Sunday. I'm hiking down from a mountain on very barefoot on rough terrain. And this is where I always scan, how is this stuff working? What is he doing, my body? And it's so interesting that it's this fraction of a second that one leg is getting into this non-alignment problem, and you don't think about it, but your body's giving in. That means the body's taking off weight of this leg that is getting into this problematic situation. And in this half a second of unloading, the other leg can come forward underneath the center of gravity and can keep the load completely off the problem. That is unbelievable, fantastic, and fast things. And this happens automatically since about 10 years. Whenever I'm ditching into something, even when I'm downhill running, it's the same reaction. Higher mobility gives me more time. All the jumping, all the stuff, this elasticity thing we are training is also giving reactions, unloading stuff, and then you have a fast movement of the supporting leg coming in and is giving the other leg the chance to get out of this situation without higher damage. And this is, I don't train for it, but this is happening to the whole spectrum of natural movements we are doing.
Is this also something that is connected to the nervous system? Because basically your nervous system is kind of aware of, like, due to training, it's sort of familiar with these odd movements.
Definitely.
And so when they accidentally happen, your nervous system is more like, oh, we've been here before, no panic.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Therefore, doesn't have like this immediate reaction kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. One is that this mobility gives the nervous system more information about the position of your ankle in space. Yeah, and also with the background that the injury story of a supination trauma is not like they were telling us over decades. It is different. And this first time somebody was talking about it was Ido Portal. He was saying there is a different mechanism how it gets into this stretching or into the rupture of a supination traumatized tendon. And the same story you hear from the functional movement system. They also get into the same area. And it means, Ido Portal was saying, if you don't train this maximum range of motion, your body will not accept any deviation from your normal range of motion. And as soon, let's say that's normal, and this is what we train. Yeah, so we get a full idea, or a nervous system gets the full idea what is possible when somebody does not train. And what happens if somebody who is then getting into a ditch is that there is a little deviation out of the normal sensory zone, and the information of your nervous system of disaster is immediately here. And then there is a reflexive response of your nervous system, and this is trying to bring your alignment back as fast as possible. And the injury, the tearing of the tendon, is not happening while the deviation is happening. It is happening when your reflex wants to bring your joint back into alignment. This pulling it back brings the injury, and not this getting out of the normal position. Not in the first phase, this was thought. It's actually in the second phase. Okay. This is Ido Portal's idea, and for me it was immediately clear that this makes sense. Also, different reasons. It's not just because because of the reaction time. It's also about the structural quality of the tendon itself. It means if you don't use it, it becomes tight and like spröde, like not elastic anymore. If you don't use it, it's not neutralized, supported with nutrition. It is not the fascia that is working finely. It's already a chaos, and then it's used than never before, and it's just panic reactions. And the information from functional movement system was that mobility is necessary to make the receptors sensible again for examining the position of the joint. And this fitted perfectly on the thing Ido Portal was teaching, and they had it in a functional exercise. And okay, so that means if you are training the mobility, you have the more sensory input, and your body has more time to react, or can react finer, not overreacting or underreacting, but has a original data transfer. The second is that the tissue itself maybe is out of its normal thing because of not using it. And the third is your body has no strategies to cope with it. It means my unloading and bringing the other feet forward under the center of gravity is also something that comes way later, or is the first incident is about 100 milliseconds later, and the second thing is about 300 milliseconds later. But in a person who don't walks or has a problem, the reactions come 1 second later. It's all gone already. The complete show happened. And you missed it somehow. Yeah.
And barefoot shoes when I walk with barefoot shoes, it's much less problems than when with my shoes before. But now I was super tired because my son had how does it call, appendix surgery just before.
Okay.
So, but I have the feeling that it needed to be like this because I had a lot of before, and the ankle was too strong, and I was working on this mobility, and it was like, that's the present I get from it. Now it's out of emotion, out of the strong tissue, and now I can restore it correctly. Voila. This was my present from my donkeys.
Yeah, we were talking about the non-alignment, right? Or getting out of alignment. So getting out of alignment is necessary actually in the therapy to just make it soft again and do the joint circulation. But this is unloaded. This is the therapeutic part. And then later, if the pain is gone and the function is fully reestablished, then you have to go for this conscious and loaded and in the real situations non-alignment.
Yeah. I was working on this, so it was funny that it had happened. So it's good.
And when you're then in this being without the problem and working on the non-alignment as a conscious training tool, then you are in the phase where the stuff doesn't happen anymore. And I just know from myself. I don't know whether you have one real scene from me when I was jumping from this at the train station from this elevation onto the rail, and on the first hit I did not stand it. I could not stick it, but I was getting up, jumping with one leg on the other rail, with the other foot on the next rail, and then with both feet on top of the elevation again. That means I was standing on this elevation again. I was saying, wow, this was so crazy. What my feet has done. They were not getting somewhere to getting into a danger. I was just looking, and my foot was going there and there and there, and then I was out of the danger zone. There was no risk of stepping into a wrong place or whatever. So, but this is not happening if you are in a physiotherapy and then do your balance on a Bosu ball. This is not possible. You need to do the natural movement, the going barefoot into the rocky area. I think this is the most important thing.
The rocky area here in Belgium, flat. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Then also maybe closing your eyes from time to time. There's not an abyss next to you, but this is the real life application where the stuff is happening and where you're trying to prevent it. Actually, sure, you can do it a bit different with jumping, but it's not necessary normally. You will never jump onto some rough terrain. But you should be able to just walk and not injure yourself by getting a little of supination movement. Yeah. So principally, is the MSc a bit clearer? Yeah. I will try to write it down somehow in a presentation or whatever. But I did it last time. I will check it again. Maybe make some fittings, and then I will put it into the circle group. And then please put some comments in. Really honest. Bernd, this makes no sense. I understand no word. It needs to be bulletproof. Everybody should understand it.
Or a drawing, Bernd, if you say this steps, chuk, 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 it's like...
Yeah, it's a presentation step by step.
Yeah, or how to say, in icons or whatever. So
Visual.
Yeah, not too much words, just visualization.
It means if you send me some pictures from your ankle, I could put it in.
There are here in the chat. Yeah, I can send some if you want.
No, would be this interesting thing that we. The ankle is not the perfect example in this presentation. Actually, it would be much simpler lumbar spine or hip or something like this. But this is also something that needs to be filmed or like a little lecture on where does the ankle sprain come and where does this new ideas come from? Because if you don't follow Ido Portal or functional movement screen, you will never get these informations. Where should you get them from the health insurance illustration or yeah. There's a lot of YouTube videos we should do. There's no good foam rolling routines in it. It's becoming a bit better. There's no proper wall sit thing in it. There would be so much helpful videos, tutorials for people. Yeah, it's like the whole system. It explodes and explodes and explodes on ideas. You just have to keep it in check and in structure. Good. Okay. So I try to make this presentation as clear as possible. I expect
Do we have time for one more quick question?
Yeah, sure, please.
Because with the spine and nerves, etc., when a problem is caused by the nerve, but it's not coming from the spine, but it's coming from the brain, like a neural dysfunction.
From the brain
is causing, yeah. Because I have a client, and I mean he had different diagnoses over the past few months, but by now it's pretty sure that on the one hand he has a broken vertebra in the chest spine, but this is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that he has a neurological problem, which right now causes him a little bit of impairment, I think on the right side, on the left side? No, on the left side. And he has like this constant tickling feeling in his leg, like, you know, when the blood flow is not properly, that kind of feeling.
Okay.
But it's caused by a neurological problem.
That's called neuropathy, actually. That when your extremities start to get problems with the nerves. Marek is somebody who is working with some people who have the same problems. He was asking me about what is there. And I also worked with my mother had it, but it was way too late. I think the thing is, if you wait too long, then it's gone. It's with everything. If you wait too long, then repeating the process is almost not possible. It would involve so much time and effort. If it's starting, if it's quite fresh, the problem, the chances to heal it should be also good.
But would you still go for like, okay, softening the tissue, working on mobility and stability? You would take the same approach even then?
I was Googling it, and my reference person is mostly Barbara O'Neill. It's this naturopath from Australia. She's just working with nutritional stuff, and I was just thinking about neuropathy, Barbara O'Neill, and then there were some snippets from lectures, and she's applying black pepper on the parts that are starting to, and the only effect is blood circulation.
Blood circulation, yeah. So like tiger balm in Asia.
Yeah. So
just using like
again, always think about what is going on. Yeah. The most important thing is always blood circulation. Without blood circulation, nothing is happening. Blood is supporting tissue, whether it's an organ, it's skin, or it's the nerve itself. The nerve also, I think, needs some blood or whatever the Hülse or whatever. So blood circulation is number one repair thing. The next thing is the white blood cell, the lymphatic system is a different one, separated. So it is repairs stuff, not just supporting nutritions, but it's really the polis down there. So look at Perry Nicholson and Stop Chasing Pain. He's, I think, the only expert that is specialized on the lymphatic system.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one would be the nerve itself, and the nerve needs to be stimulated by movement. Yeah, that means maybe also it's cold and warm, which is both. It's nerve stimulation and blood circulation supporting. It's getting the muscles soft, because the muscles can pressure onto, and I'm sure it is a very polycausal problem. It is a problem with
it is 100%.
Yeah, so it's the stress, let's say systemic stress, it's nutrition, it's blood circulation on the parts, it's the nerve circulation on the part. That means everything needs to be addressed that plays a role in it. From I would say from the periphery, from the symptom to the center, and to the center would be the head itself. And if you go for some stress management, it's always good.
That's what he needs, but that's difficult with him.
And people who have stuff like this were also people who were sitting or standing a lot of their lives. It is also
He's a hairdresser, so yeah, he is standing a lot.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's that bad that he basically cannot work. But he's also he like to get off his energy. He walks around a lot, and yeah, I actually want to try next session to let him walk backwards to check for his walking pattern. Because I think that his walking pattern by now might be a bit affected as well, and therefore probably walking is not necessarily his best option.
Yeah, it's a trial and error. That's the most important thing. Trial and error. Trying something 3, 4, 5, and then checking whether it's better or not. This is something from Function Movement Screen. I'm so thankful to the system, because they were saying you give some corrective exercises, and then you see 2 or 3 weeks later, is it better or is it worse or is it the same? And you have to adjust it. If it's the same, and you don't have any better idea, then go on with it. It's worse, then you have to change your strategy, and if it works, then keep the strategy. I think this is not just this is a general thing in any life area, in business or whatever. If problems occur, it's always about feedback and working on the different volumes. And interesting would be to have a progression in the tools, to have a bit of a structure in it. That means I not try this and this and that, but priority number one, blood circulation. This priority number one, how do I get blood circulation there? Is it black pepper? Is it warm cold? Is it rubbing? Is it whatever? Yeah, they all go deeper or they go more superficial. This would be a fantastic thing for one of you or for me after my 80th birthday when I did this finish. Putting progressions in every stuff, so everybody can say, okay, I tried these 5 progressions, nothing happened. Okay, now I go to the doctor or something like this. Yeah. Would just be how can we provide people with possibilities to heal themselves or cope with the problems themselves again? And there's not much out there. Okay, so this is also interesting for Marek. Thank you for this question. So Marek has his last week Get Up, Get Down little example thing, and now it's the neuropathy. And great to have these topics. There's always something to add a little bit. I would never say I can heal stuff of this. There's just logic thinking out of a natural approach, and this should be universal, and should also be a possibility to get some good effects in this case. Let us know, please.
I will. I'll probably come up with more questions.
Yeah, to serve is so great to have something where we can all discuss. Okay, sorry for the extension of 50 minutes. Have a great week and see you next Monday or Tuesday.
Bye-bye.